Routinization in Agile methods, emergence and change of routines in Scrum teams. Hi there, this is Francis Berenger. This paper is related to my dissertation project. Sandra Regina is my advisor and we are from Catholic University at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The start point for this research came from important questions in the study of organizational routines. How are routines born? Where do routines come from? How do routines emerge and change? We believe with this research that we are giving some answers to them, contributing this way to the organizational routine studies. We also believe that practical, processual perspectives were more adequate in addressing these issues than the dynamic capabilities. So, with those aspects in mind, we set up our objective and conduct a phenomenographic research. Phenomenography was considered because the methodology is suitable to practical perspective. Phenomenography is a theoretical methodological approach where the subject and the word are seen as intertwined and experience occurs in that relationship. The perception of experience is the unit of analysis, and the variation of the experience of the phenomenon is the object of inquiry. The different ways of experience the phenomenon, the categories, and logically related in a hierarchy by complexity. This study directed the lens of the routine to observe how routine emerged and changed in process derived from Agile methods, in this case, Scrum methodology. Routines in Agile methods were taken into consideration as a research field because in the context of Agile methods are ephemeral routines. Routines born, change, and die during a short life period. For this reason, routines in Agile methods seem a good research field for studies of emergence and change of routines. In this research, 20 subjects were interviewed, data were organized, analyzed, and the research results were arranged in an outcome space. Outcome space is a matrix that reveals the phenomenon under investigation. In this case, the phenomenon is the different ways in conceiving how routines emerge and change under perspective of Scrum team members. Let me present outcome space in detail. The outcome space constructed consists of 3 descriptive categories that present the different ways in which Scrum team members have experienced the phenomenon. Shu, it means observing the artifact. Ha, breaking away the artifact. And He, transcend the artifact. The descriptive categories were named based on the learning stage of Shuhari, the pedagogical process of Japanese Budo, which leads a martial arts apprentice to develop to the level of master. The choice for Shuhari stage to categorize the description of the studied phenomenon seemed adequate based on the main finds of the research, which refers to the relevance of the influence of the central artifact, the Scrum Guide, on emergence and change of the routines of Scrum teams. The 3 descriptive categories present different levels of complexity, from the least level of complexity to the most complex conception. The distinct degrees of complexity are explained by the explanatory dimensions. The variation between these 3 different conceptions is evidenced by means of 6 explanatory dimensions. 1. Extents of the artifact, the Scrum Guide. Number 2. Organizational culture in Agile principles. 3. Team experience in Scrum. 4. Emergence of leadership in the team. 5. Consensus for truth. 6. Team behavior. Let me present each one. Explanatory dimension, the actance of artifact, the Scrum Guide. The Scrum Guide prescriptively influences the emergence and change of routines in all three categories. In the first one, agent's power of the team is not manifested for adaptations of routines to environmental variations. This agent's power increases until the most complex category, when the Scrum team adapting routines to environmental variations include no compliances with the Scrum Guide. Explanatory dimension, organizational culture in Agile principles. In the first category, organization has no belief in the values of agility. Low autonomy is granted to Scrum teams. In the second one, there are evidences of team autonomy and self-organizing initiatives. In the most complex category, the organization believes in the values of agility. The team is armored against exogenous factors, make it possible to operate autonomously and in a self-organizing way. Executive level trust teams. Explanatory dimension, team experience in Scrum. In the first category, team has low experience and little understanding of Scrum values. Routines emerge following strictly the Scrum Guide. In the second one, team has a heterogeneous understanding of Scrum values. And the most complex category, team has high experience. Team fully understands Scrum values. There are situations of emergency change of routines in no compliance with the Scrum Guide with varied generation for the organization. Explanatory dimension, emergence of leadership in the team. In the first category, leadership is the team appears in members with great experience and hierarchical level, influencing in the emergence and change of routines. The need of leadership decreases, cause autonomy increases. In the most complex category, there is no need for leadership. Conflicts regarding divergence in emergence and change of routine are solved internally by the members themselves. Explanatory dimension, emergence of leadership in the team. In the first category, leadership is the team appears in members with great experience and hierarchical level, influence in the emergence and change of routines. The need of leadership decreases, cause team autonomy increases. In the most complex category, there is no need for leadership. Conflict regarding divergence in emergence and change of routines are solved internally by the members themselves. Explanatory dimension, consensus for truth. In the first category, there are conflicts in defining routines due to disagreements among members regarding Agile principles. There is no negotiated consensus mechanism. Truths are obtained by influence of a leader and actance of the Scrum Guide. In the second one, consensus mechanisms are negotiated requiring the mediation of a leader. In the most complex category, consensus mechanisms are negotiated quickly by the team without the need for mediation. Truths are obtained in an agile way. Explanatory dimension, team behavior. In the first category, there are no adaptations and changes of routines in response to environmental variations. Low critical sense about the established pattern of routines. And the second one, some members manifest themselves critically on the established pattern of routines. In the most complex category, Adaptation and change occur systematically in routines in response to environment variations. There is a cohesion of efforts in the search for high performances. Returning to full matrix, outcome space reveals the phenomenon of emergence and change of routines. As a theoretical methodological approach, phenomenography allowed us to set some propositions. The emergence and change of routines are related to collective competence of the Scrum team. The Scrum team can be understood as a single agent owned by a collective agency with an important role in the emergence and change of project routines. In this sense, routine dynamics related to change in routines can be seen as a collective accomplishment and not as a direct result of individual multi-actor agencies. The collective agency of Scrum team comes from negotiation of individual intentions and orientations among team members mediated by the central artifact, the Scrum Guide. The internal interaction in the team is continuous, producing a collective competence regarding emergence and change of routines that is built throughout the project life cycle. Collective competence refers to the agents of a collective of individuals to reinvent their organization permanently. The first collective competence of a Scrum team is developing a specific practice of Agile routinization. Unlike traditional methods, Agile product management methods are recommended for high uncertainty environments. Routines in Agile products are not thought like work processes that can be previously designed. For this reason, artifactual representations of routines are not used. In this case of Scrum, the guide acts as the mediating artifact for the emergence of routines for human agencies. Faced with the ephemerality of the routines and the intense changes required by the Agile method, the Scrum team develops a collective competence to routinize in an Agile way new practices necessary for the project. This competence can be understood as the ability of the team to develop a routine of how to create and change routines. The knowledge of this practice comes from experience and make decisions based on what is known by the members of the team. The second collective competence of Scrum team is defining routines transcend the strong artifact acceptance. A paradoxical situation can be observed in which the power of the agents proposed in autonomy, self-organization, and freedom to define routines and artifacts is opposed to the structuralism exercised by the documentary artifact. The guide is an artifact with strong actance, being commonly referred by the team as sacred thing, having doctrine and require compliance with rites, rules, and ceremonies. The need to transcend the artifact generates internal tensions and conflicts within the team. Human agents that transgress the guide and human agents that respect the guide disagree. Yet consensus is negotiated swiftly and truths are quickly obtained. The competence to transcend the artifact, the Scrum Guide, is developed collectively by the project team. This competence leads the Scrum team to know how far it's possible to go beyond the fence without compromising the fundamental principles of the Agile methods. Thank you for your attention. We hope that we gave some contribution to dynamic routine studies.